writing from the intermediate Headway book. My name is Mr. Paul Anthony, and I'm speaking to you from Al Jazeera International Academy here in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, there's the book, if you want to take a look at that. And there's a section on reading and writing. This is all about writing. It's from Unit 1 on page 13. So when we correct writing, we have to stick to a particular formula. For example, T, tense. This means there's a problem with the writer's choice of tense. Prep. This means that it's the wrong preposition in the written work. GR, this means there's a problem with the grammar. WO means that there is a problem with the word order. WW, it means wrong word. It does not mean www. It means there's a wrong word, okay, a wrong word. P, there's a problem with the punctuation. SP, there's a problem with the spelling. And this little arrow thing means that there's a word missing. Okay? What we have here is a letter written by someone called Katie, and she has written a letter to her friend, Stephanie. Now this particular letter is full of mistakes, as you can see here. I'll just move out of the way for a second so you can see that. I don't know if you can see it too well. I think what I'll do, I'll make it larger so you can see each element of the letter. So in the first part here, it says, "How are you? I'm very well. I came in Dublin." But it also states here that there's a problem with the preposition. So this should actually be, I came to Dublin 2 weeks ago. And now here it says for to study. This is a grammatical error. It should be, I came to Dublin 2 weeks ago to study, not for. I came to Dublin 2 weeks ago to study at a language school. Okay, so that's the mistake there. It should be to study, not for to study. Let's go back here. I want, now there's a word missing, so the word is to. I want to learn, that's the infinitive to do, the infinitive to learn. I want to learn English. Here we have the letter P. Now this represents punctuation. Here we have the letter E, but it's a small e. In fact, if you're talking about nationalities, the E should be a capital letter. So it should be a capital E here. So I want to learn English because, now there's a word, here we have, let's move it there. Here we have a word missing. There's our arrow, there's a word missing. I want to learn English because it, so the missing word is it, because it is a very important language. Let's go here. Now we have some grammar problems here. I'm stay with, no. So it's I am as in I am. So this should be ing. So we would have the present continuous. I'm staying with. Irish, no. We don't say Irish because Irish begins with the letter I, which is a vowel. So we say an Irish because if the word begins with a vowel, we must say an and not a. I'm staying with an Irish family. They've, let's see, they've got 2 sons. It's a grammatical problem here. If it's 2, it's plural, so it should say 2 sons. So there should be a letter S just here. 2 sons and a daughter. Mr. Kendall is teacher. No, there's a word missing here, which is the word a. Mr. Kendall is a teacher. And Mrs. Kendall work. Grammatical error here. There should be a letter S here because it's what she does. She works. Mrs. Kendall works. So there should be a letter S just here. She works in a hospital. The Irish, it says here, is very kind. But if we say the Irish, shall we go back there a second? If we say the Irish, we're talking about they. I, we, you, they. I am, we, you, they are. They are. The Irish are. Let's go back here. The Irish are, that's a grammatical problem there, are very kind, but they speak very quickly. And here we have the exclamation mark, which tells us they are being very emphatic in their writing. Of course, I'm talking about Katie. She's being emphatic here with the exclamation mark in her writing. Let's move up here. I study in the morning. My teacher's, there's a punctuation problem here. My teacher's name, so it's possessive, belonging to the teacher, so there should be an apostrophe just here. There should be an apostrophe, P for punctuation problem. My teacher's name is Anne. WW, wrong word. Not she said me, she told me. She told me that my English is okay, but I do a lot of mistakes. Wrong word. Not do a lot of mistakes, I make a lot of mistakes. Here we have a grammatical problem, and don't give us too much. So it's what she doesn't do. So he does, she does, it does. She does, but we want it in the negative, so it's she doesn't. She, Anne doesn't give us too much homework. So that's your grammatical error there. She doesn't give us too much homework. So in the afternoons, I go always. W-O, that's the wrong order, the wrong word order. The word order is wrong. So in the afternoons, I always go. I always go sightseeing. Sightseeing is looking around at all of the tourist sites, like the buildings, the architecture, historical places, museums. That is, when you're travelling and walking around and you're looking, you are sightseeing. Dublin is much more big. So here we have a grammatical error. Dublin is much bigger than, not much more big. Dublin is much bigger. This should say bigger. Much bigger than my city. I like very much shopping. So this is the word order. There's a problem with the word order. So it should be, I like shopping very much. So shopping should come here. I like shopping very much. And I'm very interesting. So there's a grammatical problem. It should be, I'm very interested. ED, regular verb. I'm very interested. And here we have the wrong preposition. It should be interested in fashion. I'm very interested in fashion. So I visit shops and markets. I've met a girl named Martina. Now it says there's a problem with the tense. She came. Let's find out. Oh, she came from Spain. So that should be she comes from Spain, not she came from. She comes from Spain. And go, not go to, is what she does. She goes to, G-O-E-S. She comes from Spain and goes to Trinity College. Yesterday, so the problem with the tense again, not we go, because it was yesterday. This is present, it should be past. The past of go is went. Yesterday we went to a tennis match, but it wasn't very exciting, no. This should say exciting. E-X-C-I-T-I-N-G. So the spelling is wrong here. It should say exciting, not exiting. Let's go up here. Wrong word. Do you like to visit me? We would probably say, would you like? Would you like to visit me? Why don't you come for a weekend? I'd love to see you, love, Katie. Did you get all the mistakes? I'm sure you did. I'm going to write something now on the computer to give you an idea of an informal letter. Hopefully I won't make too many mistakes. Now, before I attempt to write my letter, what is an informal letter? An informal letter is a letter that is written in a personal fashion. You can write them to relatives or friends, but also really to anyone with whom you have a non-professional relationship. This doesn't exclude business partners or workers you're friendly with either. There are different ways to carry out this type of letter depending on which country you're in. Well, we're going to look at the British English way of doing things, I think. And we have to think about the address, the date, the opening, the text body, the content, the closing, and the signature when we're writing our informal letter. So, your personal address should be located at the top right corner of the page, since you do not always know if someone has your address in case you want to reply. Remember to also fill in your country of residence if that's where you're writing from. Now, we saw the story about Katie, the letter that Katie sent to Stephanie, and we noticed quite a few mistakes. Now let's go down here, or up here I should say. Now here we've got some questions, okay? So the first question is, where is Katie and where is she staying? So she says, I came to Dublin 2 weeks ago. So she's in Dublin, and who's she staying with? She says, I'm staying with an Irish family. So she's staying with an Irish family. The next question is, why is she there? Why is she there? Because she's going to study at a language school. She's going to study English at a language school. What does she do each day? What does she do each day? She studies in the morning. That's what she does. In the afternoons, she always goes sightseeing because she doesn't get too much homework. So she's got time to go sightseeing. I think she says she likes shopping. I like shopping very much. So she visits shops and markets. And yesterday she went to a tennis match. Let's see what else. What does she do in her free time? Well, as we just said, she goes sightseeing and shopping. What else we got? Who has she met? She met a girl named Martina from Spain who goes to Trinity College. So that answers those questions. So obviously I'm not using real addresses. These are just fictitious names and addresses. Okay, they're not real. So there you are. You can see now we have another name. This is a totally fictitious name. It's not a real name. So the writer puts his name at the top and followed by his address, and slightly underneath it on the left-hand side over here, the person we're writing to. It's quite an informal letter. So the contents of your letters should be written in a personal and friendly tone. However, it's important to adjust your use of language to the person you're writing to. A good way of assessing how you should write is to think about how you would interact with each other in real life. Also, in English we like to exchange polite kind of chit-chats, you know, informal language. You know, we like to say, oh, how are you? How are you doing? How was your holiday? We like to put these things into our letters. So in the first paragraph, you should state your reason for writing. So let's see what we can put there. Don't forget, this is going to be quite an informal letter. So, dear Dave, I could have written something like, hi Dave. As in, you know, how's life, how's things, what's going on. I'm trying to be polite, I'm trying to be nice. So, dear Dave, how's everything? Now we need to give him an idea of what we're writing about. How's everything? I was just wondering if you're still planning on going to the States for your holiday. The reason I ask is that my son Joe wants me to get him an American football shirt for his birthday. If you are travelling to America on your holes, as in holidays, comma, if you are travelling to America on your holes, maybe you could look out for one. Obviously I'll give you the cash. Obviously I'll give you the cash for it. We're writing about our friend. We're asking him if he's still going to America. We've asked him how things are, if he's still going to America for his holidays, and if he is, could he look out for an American football shirt? Because my son Joe, he wants one. And I also explained that I will give him the money for the shirt. So we could kind of break this down into two paragraphs. I have a small paragraph, but I don't know, I think that's quite good for the first paragraph. Perhaps I can expand on that. I'll do another paragraph to give more of an idea. Joe's been pestering me for weeks for an American football shirt, so I'd appreciate it very much if you could do me a huge favour here and do your best to help me out. His favourite team is Miami Dolphins, and I know Melissa and you were thinking about going there. So I've expanded a bit more on the reasons. So let's just take this into context. So the top right hand corner, I put the writer's name and address. Don't forget, this is not a true address, it's completely fictitious. And then I've made up this name, Dave Walker. It's a completely fictitious address, it's not a real address. And I put the date underneath it. Then I've put Dear Dave. I could, because it's an informal letter, I could have said, Hi Dave. But then I've put in a sort of nicety, I've said, how's everything? And then I'm putting in my reason for sending the letter to Dave. I was just wondering if you are still planning on going to the States for your holiday. The reason I ask is that my son Joe wants me to get him an American football shirt for his birthday. If you are travelling to America on your holidays, maybe you could look out for one. Obviously, I'll give you the cash for it. So then I want to expand on this, to give him more of a reason, to try and make him think about it. Joe has been pestering me for weeks for an American football shirt, so I'd appreciate it very much if you could do me a huge favour here and do your best to help me out. His favourite team is Miami Dolphins, and I know Melissa and you were thinking about going there. Now, in our final paragraph, we can make some remarks. We need to put some remarks in the final paragraph. Let's move on. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give some extra ideas for opening. Dear Dave, how's everything? I could say this one. I could say, how have you and Melissa been? How have you and Melissa been? Put in an extra nicety. Because we like these sort of niceties when we put in the letters. I could also add another one if I wanted to. I could say something like, I hope you're all doing okay. Full stop. So we've got our kind of opening. We could, if we wanted to, we could just have that as our opening like that. Dear Dave, how's everything? How have you and Melissa been? I hope you're all doing okay. So this could be our opening line, in fact. Then we can have our first paragraph, the reason why we're writing, why I'm writing. Then we had our second paragraph. We've got our main name and address, that's the name and the address of the writer. Then over here we've got the name of the person we're sending our informal letter to. We have the date. Dear Dave. We can actually say, Hi Dave, if it's really informal. How's everything? How have you and Melissa been? I hope you're all doing okay. This suggests that they've got children as well when we say, I hope you're all doing okay. In fact, I might put too much here because we don't want to sound overly nice. So I'm going to just get rid of that one there. And go back a bit. So I think that's a better opening line. How have you and Melissa been? But because we have a comma just here, after Dave there's a comma, so I think what we should do is not make that large. Make it small. Oh. Dear Dave, how have you and Melissa been? I think after here we might need a bigger space. So it identifies that it's the letters here. So I think this is a better way with your first line. How have you and Melissa been? I hope you're all doing okay, which kind of gives us the idea that they have children. I was just wondering if you are still planning on going to the States for your holiday. The reason I ask is that my son Joe wants me to get him an American football shirt for his birthday. If you are travelling to America on your holes, maybe you could look out for one. Obviously I'll give you the cash for it. So that's my initial reason for writing to Dave Walker and also his wife Melissa. Then we looked at the second paragraph, Joe has been pestering me for an American football shirt for weeks. So I'd appreciate it very much if you could do me a huge favour here and do your best to help me out. So I know that Melissa and you were thinking about going there. It's kind of expanded on the first one. In our ending, there's lots of ways we could end this. Let's make some remarks for Dave here. Let's put an if clause. If you do decide to go to Miami, have a fantastic time. Have a fantastic time. Then we could put the closing sentence example with something like, oh, here we are. I know what we could do. We could, anyway, if you do decide to go to Miami, have a fantastic time. See you soon, Paul. That's all you need to do for your ending of your letter. So that's how we would do it. So we know about the dates and everything. So now let's have a look at the letter again. We'll make it bigger. So there we are. So after Dave's address at the top left-hand side and my name and address on the top right-hand side and the date underneath Dave's address, we say Dear Dave or Hi Dave, because it's an informal letter. How have you and Melissa been? I hope you're all doing okay. So we're talking about their family, and this is our introduction. It gives us a few niceties, a couple of niceties to say, yeah, I hope you're doing okay, how have you been? And then we write our introduction, the reason we're writing to them. I was just wondering if you're still planning on going to the States for your holiday. The reason I ask is that my son Joe wants me to get him an American football shirt for his birthday. If you are travelling to America on your holes, maybe you could look out for one. Obviously, I'll give you the cash for it. Joe has been pestering me for weeks, so now we're expanding. We're making them think a bit more about what we're asking them for. Joe's been pestering me for weeks for an American football shirt, so I'd appreciate it very much if you could do me a huge favour here and do your best to help me out. His favourite team is Miami Dolphins, and I know Melissa and you were thinking about going there. Anyway, if you do decide to go to Miami, have a fantastic time. See you soon, Paul. So that's our ending. So we're trying to be as nice and polite as possible in a very informal way. So that's one way of writing an informal letter. It's a little bit cheeky, but I guess he knows Dave quite well. So probably Dave will look out for this American football shirt for him. Another kind of informal letter, you could simply write your address in the top right hand corner, and underneath you could put the date. That's okay, that's fine. Thanks for contacting me last week. It was really good. It was really good to hear from you. To hear from you after all this time. You appear to be doing all right in Tuscany. So, just a short paragraph there. It's like responding to your friend. Jack's already contacted you, so you want to say something or send him a response, you know. Also, thank you so much for the videos. Diane absolutely adores the ones of you and the kids playing in the pool. Tuscany looks so much. So that's an informal letter. We put our address. It's not a real address, it's a fictitious address, it's not real. Followed by the date underneath. And we've begun by saying, Dear Jack, thanks for contacting me last week. It was really good to hear from you after all this time. You appear to be doing all right in Tuscany. Also, thank you so much for the videos. Diana absolutely adores the ones of you and the kids playing in the pool. Okay, so here's our informal letter. Put your name and address, or just put your address, because the person receiving the letter knows you. Just write your address in the top right hand corner, followed by the date, and then start informally. Dear Jack, thanks for contacting me last week. It was really good to hear from you after all this time. You appear to be doing all right in Tuscany. So that's our introduction. Now we have the main body of our informal letter. Also, thank you so much for the videos. Diana absolutely adores the one of you and the kids playing in the pool. So here's our letter, our informal letter with the address in the top right hand corner. That's the address of the writer. And they write to their friend Jack. Dear Jack, thanks for contacting me last week. It was really good to hear from you after all this time. You appear to be doing all right in Tuscany. So that's the introduction and the main body of our informal letter. Also, thank you so much for the videos. Diana absolutely adores the ones of you and the kids playing in the pool. Tuscany looks so much sunnier than dull old London. We really want to travel there sometime. And now we're kind of finishing off the final conclusion and comments. Anyway, do you have any plans to return home in the future? If you do, let us know and we'll meet you at the airport. Hopefully we can meet up soon. William. So Jack and William were obviously good friends from some time ago. So here's another way of writing an informal letter. Let's just make it a bit bigger so we can see what we've got. So, top right hand corner we have the person's address. It's an informal letter. They know his name, he doesn't need to put his name. Underneath we have the address. He's writing to his friend called Mick. We can see it is very informal. He says, hey dude, what's up? It's like, hey man, what's up? I hope you're doing all right. No need to worry about me. I'm doing really well. How's the boys? They must be getting bigger, eh? Say hello to them for me. So that's our introduction. He's missing his friend, but he's just saying hello to him. And then he says, I got your letter yesterday. Thanks a lot for keeping in touch. Everybody here sends their regards. They're still the same old lot, mad as hatters. This just means, it's an expression which means they're mad. Sorry to hear about old Mr. Brown passed away. We never expected that. So obviously, wherever Mick is, he's with his sons, and they must know this man, Mr. Brown. Passed away means he's died. So perhaps he lives somewhere near where Mick lives, and perhaps they've been there before. They've been to visit Mick, and they've met this Mr. Brown. Then it goes on to say, in the main part of the letter, my return flight was pretty uneventful. In other words, nothing really happened. But this could be sarcasm, when they say something, but they mean something else in a way that is the opposite to what they're saying. Because he said nothing happened, it was pretty uneventful. But then he says, well, apart from some turbulence. Turbulence is like the wind outside the aircraft, like a bubble of air, which makes the plane rock from side to side. And then he says the passengers were screaming, overhead luggage falling out of the overhead compartments. The flight took 12 hours, and he said he was glad to touch down on terra firma. Terra firma is the earth, the land. And he says his legs were killing him. So that's a Latin term, terra firma. It's Latin, it means earth. Then he says, it's good to hear you have a new contract with your company. Just keep those sales coming in. I always knew you were one of life's winners. All work and no play, eh? So obviously this Mick, he works very hard. He's some kind of salesman. So here he says, all the best in your job. So this is the final conclusion to the informal letter. All the best in your job. Keep up the good work. Me and the lads from the dance team are missing you and all the laughs we used to have. Hopefully see you in the new year. So it says, see you soon, Jacko. So perhaps Jacko is going to visit Mick. That's what it seems like anyway. So that's our informal letter. It's just another way of writing an informal letter. You have your introduction, then you expand on your introduction in paragraph 2. Paragraph 3, the main paragraph gives you the main idea, and then you have your final paragraph, and then your conclusion. And here the conclusion is all the best in your job. So he's getting ready to say goodbye, but really he says see you soon. So perhaps he's planning to visit Mick in the new year. So yeah, this is our introduction, just here. Then we expand on our introduction. We give the most of the information in the main paragraph before our concluding paragraphs. Now, how many ways can you think of to start and end a letter or email? So we would say, if it's formal, we can say, Dear Madam, Dear Sir. And then if we want to sign off, we could say, if it's informal, if it's a family member, we might say lots of love. We could also say to our friends, all the best, when we're signing off. All the best, Jack. All the best, Bob. Best wishes. You could put your name underneath. It's a fairly formal one, but not too serious. You start with Dear Sir or Madam, and you could end with Yours faithfully. You could also end with Sincerely, blah blah blah. Your name underneath. Okay, let's come over here. What we need to decide here, put that there, are which are beginnings and which are endings. So, for example, number 1, just a note. Actually, I'm up there a bit bigger. So, number 1, just a note to thank you so much, to say thank you so much for having me to stay last weekend. So that's a beginning. Let's have a look at this one. Thank you for your letter of the 16th of April. Please find enclosed a cheque for £50. So this is a beginning. Write, or better still, email me soon. So that's an ending. That's an ending. How are you doing? You'll never guess who I saw last week at Dan's. That's a beginning. I am writing in response to your advertisement in yesterday's Daily Star. That's a beginning. We trust this arrangement meets with your satisfaction. That's an ending. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch for such a long time. That's a beginning. I look forward to hearing from you at your earliest convenience. That's an ending. I thought I'd write rather than email for a change. That's a beginning. Give my regards to Robert. That's an ending. Take care and thanks again. That's an ending. Let's just check. So yes, 1 is a beginning, we know that. 2 is a beginning, let's have a look. 2, yeah. 3 is an ending, yeah. 4, beginning, 5, that's a beginning. Number 6, that's an ending. 7, that's a beginning. 8, that's an ending. 9, that's a beginning. 10, that's an ending. And 11, that's also an ending. So yes, we got them correct. Let's go with that. Now we're going to match the beginnings of these different letters and emails. Dear Mary and Dave, any chance that you two are free next Saturday PM? Let me know as soon as possible. All the best, Martin. Yeah, that's that one. Dear Jane, thanks for your letter. It was great to hear from you after such a long time. You asked me what I've been doing. Well, it would be lovely to see you sometime. Do you ever come to London? We could meet for lunch. Love, Pat. Yeah, that's that one. Dear Sir or Madam, I saw an advertisement in the Daily Telegraph for weekend breaks at your hotel. Many thanks. I look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Yours faithfully, James Fox. Hi Pete, thanks for the invite. Can't wait to see you. Let's hope it stays fine. Love to Ellie. See you then, Deborah. Dear Mr. Smith, we received your order for the Encyclopedia World CD-ROM and your cheque for £75. We apologise for the inconvenience and will have pleasure in processing your order as soon as we receive the additional amount. Yours sincerely, Thames Valley Computer Software. That's that one. I know that's right. Dear Mary and Dave, any chance that you two are free next Saturday PM? Let me know as soon as possible. Number 2, Dear Jane, thanks for your letter. It was great to hear from you after such a long time. You asked me what I've been doing. Well, it would be lovely to see you. Dear Sir or Madam, I saw an advertisement in the Daily Telegraph for weekend breaks at your hotel. Many thanks. I look forward to seeing you. Hi Pete. Thanks for the invite. Can't wait to see you. Number 5. Dear Mr. Smith, we received your order for the Encyclopedia World CD-ROM and your cheque for £75. We apologise for the inconvenience. Yes, we are correct. Dear Sir or Madam, I saw an advertisement in the Daily Telegraph for weekend breaks at your hotel. Could you please send me your brochure and a price list? I would be most grateful. Dear Jane, thanks for your letter. It was great to hear from you after such a long time. You asked me what I've been doing. Well, I've changed my job a few times since I last spoke to you, and as you know, I've moved to a new flat. Dear Mr. Smith, we received your order for the Encyclopedia World CD-ROM and your cheque for £75. Unfortunately, this amount did not include packing and postage, which is £7.50. Hi Pete, thanks for the invite. We'd love to come. We've got 4 tickets for a flower show in Woodstock. Interested? Dear Mary and Dave, any chance that you two are free next Saturday PM? We've got 4 tickets for a flower show in Woodstock. Interested? So that was a short insight into writing informal letters. I hope you enjoyed that part of the Headway Plus book, Intermediate. And it's goodbye from me, Mr. Paul, here at Al Jazeera International Academy in Riyadh.